So with all this talk about people being casuals for not enjoying the lay and pray fighting style or those type of fighters in general, I decided to make a video where I list the most entertaining fighters in each division. And I also want to leave a little disclaimer here at the beginning. I'm gonna base this video off how entertaining their fighting style is and their fights are. So expect to see a lot of fighters who utilize the half guard camping strategy, because I'm such a hardcore fan. I just love watching a man holding another man down on the ground and doing absolutely nothing besides throwing some hammer fists here and there. Nah, but at flyweight, I got my boy Usyk, and I know it ain't looking too good for him right now because he just got KO'd, but as you all know, I really like fighters with a boxing base, so I had to put him here, and I do think Usyk has a really entertaining style. He's very tall for flyweight, and he's very good at taking advantage of his reach. He uses his jab very well, and he also has a very good right straight. And overall, he's just fast also, both on the feet and with his hands. So he does a very good job when it comes to stringing together combinations. He has really good timing and precision, which is a recipe for insane counters. And coincidentally, he also has some solid, sharp, and precise counters. Like if he catches you with one of those, you're definitely taking some major damage. And on top of that, he's also just very powerful, but I'ma be honest Usyk, I'm a little scared you're gonna turn into the Dominic Reyes of flyweight, just have a crazy fall off after getting robbed, but I hope he comes back after this loss and puts on some bangers. Now at bantamweight, I have another guy that it isn't looking too good for right now, and that's Sean O'Malley. And I know Sean O'Malley recently lost and the fight wasn't super entertaining, but his opponent was Merab, so can you really blame him? I mean, Merab's whole style is basically just based on ruining the fun aspect of fighting, and I know O'Malley has a lot of haters out there, but no one can deny how entertaining this guy's style is. I would probably go as far as to say that O'Malley is the most entertaining fighter in the UFC. Obviously when it comes to his fighting skills, not when it comes to his skills on the mic, because on the mic he's just very dull and boring. But however, he's one of the best strikers in the UFC, and he's just good at almost every aspect when it comes to striking. His biggest weapon though is his speed. He's very good at moving around, and he also has some really fast hands and kicks. So that's already a recipe for a super entertaining fighter. But there's more. Like Usyk, he also has crazy counters. We've seen that throughout his career, but especially in the Aljo fight where he face-planted Aljo with a counter. And on top of that, he also just has very good power as well. And overall, O'Malley's just a super flashy striker. He throws a lot of spinning techniques, and he's just literally dribbling on his opponents, except if your name is Merab. But he just has a very entertaining style and a crazy highlight reel. That Vera fight was an absolute masterclass, and I hope we can see him make a comeback. Now at featherweight, I have Diego Lopes, and this dude has been putting in work ever since he joined the UFC, man. The best way to describe this man's style is just absolute smoke. As soon as the bell rings, he just rushes out there and starts putting hands on people. 100% from the get-go. He also has very good grappling as well, but he won't shoot takedowns on people. Instead, he just prefers throwing hands. And as you know, and I respect that, because he has the power to stink up fights, but he doesn't do it. Take notes, Merab and Belal. And this is unrelated, but the guy is very active as well. I think he got signed to the UFC in 2023, and he's already fought like 6 times, so big ups to Diego Lopes for that. But at lightweight, I of course have Charles Oliveira, and it isn't looking too good right now for him either, but hopefully he can get back to the title, because every title fight he had was a banger. Chandler fight banger, Poirier fight banger, Gaethje fight banger, Makhachev fight banger. Every single fight was a banger, and Makhachev is great, but I miss having Oliveira as champ. Oliveira has exceptional grappling combined with really good striking as well, and the most entertaining thing about Oliveira's grappling is that he constantly chases submissions on the ground, and he's extremely good at that. I think he has like the most submissions or finishes in the UFC or something, which is enough to put him in this video. But another thing that makes Oliveira so exciting is his striking. Oliveira has some serious power on the feet, and he has really good technique as well, but his defense is actually pretty bad, so he does get shinned quite often, but that makes his fights entertaining because it's always a back and forth. For example, the Chandler fight where he got rolled in the first round but caught Chandler in the second, and that constant back and forth is extremely entertaining to watch. But moving on to welterweight, I of course have Belal Muhammad. What can I say, man? The guy's hands like Canelo. Nah, I'm joking. At welterweight I got Shavkat, and I know there's a good argument for MVP here, but even though I find MVP style entertaining, sometimes it just feels like he does a couple of blitzes and nothing for the rest of the round. Plus he sucks at grappling, so if he fights a grappler grappler, the fight becomes extremely boring. But Shavkat is good and entertaining everywhere. The guy has brutal striking, good power and technique. The fight with Geoff Neal was an absolute war, and he's also an amazing grappler. If you take a look at his highlights, he has brutal ground and pound, and that's the kind of grappling I enjoy watching. And that's without mentioning the fact that he has a 100% finish rate, which is crazy, literally the opposite of Belal. But moving on to middleweight, and here's the thing about middleweight, you guys, the most entertaining fighter is clearly Dricus. And I don't think this is much of a debate. You have the Whittaker fight where he pulled off an insane upset. We have the Strickland fight, which regardless of who won was an absolute war. And the Adesanya fight was also pretty good. So it's safe to say that his fights are pretty much up there when it comes to entertainment. And I also think his style provides great entertainment. As you all know, DDP is a master of the so-called caveman style. He has zero technique and relies 100% on physicality. So he has really good power. And on top of that, his defense is pretty bad as well, which results in most of his fights being absolute brawls. He also has really good grappling, but again, he isn't a boring grappler. He has insanely dangerous ground and pound, and also tries to finish the fight on the ground, which are the type of grapplers we need at the time. All these other grapplers are half guard camp or grapplers and knee away at their opponent's thighs. But anyways, got a little off topic there. Moving on to light heavyweight, I have Alex Pereira, and before the Roundtree fight, there was an argument for having Jiri here. That Roundtree fight was fantastic, man. Roundtree surprised everyone by actually winning the 2 first rounds against Pereira. Pereira had a very difficult time dealing with the speed and explosiveness of Roundtree. But the thing that people often overlook about Pereira is how high his fight IQ is. Shorter fighters generally have an advantage when it comes to infighting, and Pereira realized that he wouldn't be able to beat Roundtree in close range exchanges, at least in the early rounds, but that's why he switched over to a heavy jab approach until Roundtree started to gas. And let's not forget about how Pereira was slipping those shots in the 3rd and 4th round. Absolutely beautiful to watch, no Jones. And Pereira's fights are generally pretty good. We have the Adesanya fights, we have the Jiri fights, the Ho fight, where he got a crazy main character moment, and now the Roundtree fight. And not to mention the fact that his striking is just phenomenal as well. Like, if you want to watch the absolute peak of striking in MMA, you watch Pereira, and it's really interesting to watch someone with such a heavy background in kickboxing fight guys with a lot of experience in just MMA. Personally, I think the most entertaining part about his style is that you don't know when the fight is gonna end. I know it's a common phrase to use when talking about combat sports, but it really only takes one shot from this guy to change the entire fight. And I find those fighters extremely entertaining because I'm always at the edge of my seat when watching them. But anyways, moving on to heavyweight, we of course have Tom Aspinall, the real heavyweight champion, and I think this one is actually pretty self-explanatory. The guy just has everything when it comes to being entertaining. First of all, he is a striker with great boxing, his hands are so fast, and he's also very powerful at that, which he's shown in his fights considering he's been putting out top contender after top contender in the first minute of the fight. Man, that Sergey fight, it made me very sad, man. I hope Sergey bounces back. He also moves extremely well for his size. Like, a lot of these heavyweights are slow blobs, but Aspinall is different. It's really entertaining to just see him blitz another blob that's just standing in front of him. Like, these guys can't handle his speed, and it's nice to see him just lean back from his opponent's punches and come back with fast counters. But there's one thing that's bad about this guy, is that his fights are too short. He just goes out there and slumps every guy he fights in the first round. We don't get to see enough action, but like watching Pereira, when you're watching Aspinall, it really just feels like the fight can end at any moment. And that's why I think he's the most entertaining fighter at heavyweight. But I think that's it for today, guys. Check out my last video where I talked about a potential fight between DDP and Alex Pereira, which can probably happen in the near future. Anyways, thanks for watching, subscribe, leave a like, leave your thoughts in the comments, and share this to every MMA fan you know, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.